Good morning. In this video, I'm going to showcase a little bit more in regards to customizing the work scheduling module. So as you can see here, I have one item scheduled for today. And if I right click and select open, I can actually manually change the subject information or the information in the what we call the message. So I can manually change information here. So say for instance, just for this one unit, I wanted to make sure that this said important. Obviously spelled correctly, but I could do a manual change. So I'm going to press cancel here. I'm not going to save those changes. But what we can see specifically is that this is showcasing by default the work order number, the line number it is on that work order, the company, the schedule type. So if that was maintenance, it would say maintenance, and then who it's assigned to. So it's assigned to John Doe. We can also update the label as well. So a couple of items in this top right hand corner in the options section, we can actually set up the labels. So we can create new labels. We can establish a default. So for instance, when I create one or schedule one on the calendar, I want it to default to in progress. The setup item types, you're not really ever going to find a situation where you will be editing this information or adding more information to it. It will be looking at the order system, so work orders, estimates, invoices, and then the line details for each one of those. That's how the scheduling module functions. We look at the order system when scheduling information. So whether that's an entire work order, an entire estimate or invoice, or line specific information. The item that is really important for you is the setup default item captions. So if we were to select the work orders, this is to update the information for items that are being scheduled that are complete work orders. So say for instance, I had work order 10 and I was just scheduling that entire work order and not an individual line item. So that would be unassigned work orders. So if I had scheduled that work order, I don't have it set for a specific person. If I were to schedule that for an individual, they would be assigned the entire order, not a specific line item. So here we go. So back to individual line items. So when we are changing the layout display, we want to do it for the scheduled work option, since we're individually assigning specific units that are on work orders or estimates. So as you can see here, this is the subject and the message setup. Let's get this a little bit bigger. Let's just do this. Much easier to see. So we can see here, it is going to be the work order job number, which is the work order number, the sequence number on that work order, the customer, the event type that is assigned to that unit, and then who is scheduled for it. So say for instance, I did not need that sequence number, but I wanted the ID number on it. I thought that was really important. You can see here we have 3 different categories. So we have work order fields, company fields, and one thing that differs from the work order setup compared to the scheduled work setup, the one that I'm in here now, is the inclusion of the scheduled work field. So you can see here I have work order details, which are specific to the line items. So you can see here I can set up departments, I can set up branches, descriptions. I wouldn't really include notes, as you do have a character limit of 255. So you do want to keep that in mind when you are configuring the message information or the scheduled work information, but Gauge SN is the ID. And you can see here, I actually have the ID here. So I'm actually going to copy this and I'm going to remove that sequence number and I'm going to paste it in here. So now I have a work order number, then it's going to give me the serial number or the ID number, sorry, and then the customer. So I'm going to press, let's change this a little bit more. So I want to give the work order number here with the customer, and I want the ID number to be a little bit more separated. So now that I have that configured and I press OK, when I go to schedule a new item, you can see here it is taking over the layout in which I assigned. So it's the ID, the work order number, the company, and then the information at the end. But if I select the bottom item to update all calendar item captions, it is going to look at the established item that I created, right? The established caption, and it's going to push that through to everything that I have assigned. So you can see you're going to get a prompt to say all information will be rewritten. So say, for instance, you did add in some custom messages on a few of those items, those would be overwritten. So I'm going to say, yes, I want to proceed because I know that nothing is following that information. And as you can see here, I have the other item that I scheduled updated accordingly. So I do want to showcase this as well. So I'm going to say in progress is going to be my default status. So if I go and drag in a unit, let's do this. Oh, I need to assign it and then drag it because I'm not looking at a specific individual's category. But now you can see here, it is defaulting based on the label type that I've selected. So by default, it will be in a label status of in progress. You might want to keep that on scheduled. If you do change over the label types, you might want to update that. I'm not too sure, but I did want to highlight that as well. But specifically when it comes to the subject title or the message information, that would be set up and configured in your option settings for setup default item for scheduled work. Again, work orders is for the entire work order if you're assigning a full work order to employees. Scheduled work is line specific, so unit specific information. And then you can push that information to update everything that's already scheduled.